Week 8 science, it's the proportional solar system. You don't need to bring anything, all the supplies are there. We're going to be in the gym and I will have it all set up for you. You're going to, you can decide with the other people that have science at the same time what order you want to go in, but we're going to go in 10-minute increments to kind of walk through this proportional solar system. What I have here is just a bunch of cards that have on the back, well, I'll have them all labeled for you, but it's just kind of to represent the different sizes in proportion to one another. And we have a big, I will blow this up, but a big beach ball that represents the sun, kind of in proportion to then how tiny, for example, Mercury is, this little pinhead. So you're just gonna walk through and kind of observe and talk about the different things. You can sing the planets song as you do that. There's some things about the, about why we make a model, because we can't go to space to do it. And just like, a lot of times we draw a whole city or a little town on a piece of paper, and it's just kind of proportional or just a representation. That's what we're doing here as well. So you're just going to talk about, why we do that, the research, which is just how many planets there are. So again, just sing that. Ask them, maybe before you start the hypothesis, like, do you think that the planets are all even distance apart from one another? Do you think they're the same size? And then just kind of, you're going to walk through. There's also this that I'll leave it, you can kind of show them. This is a good representation too of the different sizes. Of course, this is just a portion of the sun. And then, we just have like tiny Mercury and different things. And then you're going to either go back to your class, or you will already at your class. You can do in your science journals, you can have them draw the planets. In your script, there's a bunch of different questions that you can play a game. Like for example, for Mercury, how many moons does Mercury have? If you think it's 0, sit. If you think it's 2, squat. If you think it's 4, stand, so you can get them moving as one option. And then also Renee has a game that we can be playing throughout the next several weeks too that she is going to explain.
Okay, so this game is called Solar System Space Racers. So what we're going to basically have for you is a printout of the solar system, which we'll have, and then it has all of the planets. We're going to have color copies of those that are going to be laminated that you can hang up in your classroom. So when we're talking about the planets for the next couple weeks, you'll have a reference point, especially when we start talking about like which ones have rings and that kind of stuff. They'll be able to visually see them, which is, I think, will be kind of cool. So what they're going to do is you're going to give each child one of the planets and shuffle them all up, and then you're going to give, and someone will be the sun. And since there's 8 planets, maybe a mom is going to have to participate, or you as the tutor can also participate. But you're going to have someone stand there with the sun and then race to see how quickly the children can get themselves in order from the planets from the sun. So then Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. And so that'll take a little while the first couple times, but I think with the bigger class it would be fun if they could then race to see how quickly they could do it. Maybe the next time to try to cut that time by 10 seconds or something like that. Or how can we work together to get us in and faster. And there's also another game at the end where there's small printouts that you can hand one to each child, and during that lesson that day for the next couple weeks, you might say, I'm gonna call it, you're gonna wear it right here, I'm gonna put a piece of Scotch tape, and you're gonna be Saturn today. So when I call on you, I'm gonna say, Saturn, please stand up. So we could use them as that. We can also use them as memory match cards for the littles. You can lay them down and they have to find the match with the other ones, and just getting the familiarity with the planets and their names and their positions with the sun. So I will probably just type up maybe 4 or 5 games that you can play, and I'll have those with this in the same bag. And you're going to bring this back for all the weeks that we're studying the solar system. That way, if we run out of time or have extra time at the end of the lesson, we can just pull this game out and play it again real quick. And I think they'll like trying to race against themselves to see how fast they can do. Or you can split up the groups and team and say, how quickly can you, put them in order. So that's the Space Racer game.